Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hope Dealer Podcast with Dr. Brian Hooten in Dallas, Texas, with the awesome Manny. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
You know, I got a thing this morning.
Yes.
We won an award for Best New Podcast West of the Mississippi River. Isn't that amazing?
So crazy.
Clean diet. You can damage the cholesterol that you have, and that's really what gets people in trouble. Sugar being the big insult. Anything that does something called oxidizes your blood and your cholesterol, that will cause it to get sticky. If you're like, let's just say we went out and ate fast food right now, the bad fats and proteins in there and all the bad oils, those are damaging to our body. Well, your brain knows that. So when let's just say we eat a French fry from one of the fast food chains, well, immediately your brain is like, what the heck is that thing that's going down my trachea and esophagus right now and into my stomach? We're gonna release the army to deal with this insult that you just did to your body. So it will send cholesterol there and other parts of your immune system to fight it. Well, that French fry will damage the cholesterol that you have.
Wow.
Based on the kind of oil that's in there, vegetable oil, canola oil, and all that kind of garbage. So those things will damage the cholesterol that you have. But in order to keep it at a good level, healthy fats are huge. And that's another problem that we've had in this country. 80 years ago, they launched this low-fat diet craze. Well, you can't manufacture cholesterol without fat. You can almost use those terms interchangeably, not quite, they're a little different, but you got to have some fat to make cholesterol. You got to have some protein, some vitamins, and some amino acids, some minerals are all part of it. But yeah, you got to have a good, healthy fat. So what the next question would be, what is a good, healthy fat?
Right.
Avocados are one of my favorites. There's all kinds of studies. If you eat like 2 avocados a day, overall disease, every disease you could think of is less.
Wow.
It's just a vital part of your body is this healthy fat stuff.
Would you recommend just eating it like raw or like adding stuff or?
I put a little sea salt on my avocados.
Okay.
I'll do some organic, hot sauce,
Yeah,
pecan, and just jazz it up a little bit.
that's good.
You certainly don't want to do the restaurant style tortilla chips
Yeah.
and the guacamole, because those tortilla chips are just full of garbage
Salty too.
and the bad kind of salt.
Yeah.
So this learning curve is huge. There's your table salt, not so good for you. Your sea salt has a lot of benefits. So, but yeah, avocados, I'll just scoop it and put a little sea salt on it.
That's good.
Yeah, and very filling.
Yeah, but I've done it too.
Yeah, like high calorie stuff, good stuff. Did I answer that question?
Yeah, no, that's good. What about like you just said like the low fat, like that was actually a campaign.
Yeah, so
where did that start?
And it's it started. I'm not sure. Oh, well, it probably started with this idea that eating fat made you fat. I'm sure. I mean, that kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
right? Well, no, that's not at all. I mean, today we understand how your hormones work and the role of sugar and carbohydrates have on storage of fat. Avocados, for example, are the main thing about them is they're healthy fat. They'll actually help you lose fat by putting in a good healthy one. Versus let's just say you took the fat out, right? Let's say somehow we stopped eating fat altogether. So that leaves us with just straight protein and carbohydrates. Well, if we did that, your brain is really smart, way smarter than we can think through. It's going to start holding on to fat. And a lot of people out there, not to get into weight loss is coming up on the next podcast series, but a lot of people have done that. They've cut out all this fat. And now look, you can lose some weight that way. But your brain wants to store all this fat. So the minute you start eating again, it's going to pack those fat cells right back up. Plus, now you're limiting your cholesterol, which lowers your ability to ward off cancer, to produce vitamin D3. You got to have that cholesterol to make the vitamin D3. So it's a circus merry-go-round going backwards and upside down and making all of us sick. By cutting out the fat. That's one of the worst things we've ever done. Industrialization, commercialization of our food, all that stuff has just had negative consequences. And, around here in North Dallas, we got a bunch of choices for healthy food to eat.
Yeah.
Thankfully, a lot of different stores are carrying, like wild animal food, meats, eggs, and organic produce. I mean, it's really not hard to find anymore.
That's so good. I love that.
Yeah, so that's a big one. If you just clean up your diet, you're not going to hurt the cholesterol you have. Oh, that reminds me, you did say how do you increase or improve your, the vitamin D and the cholesterol and all that. Supplementation. Well, coming back to the sunlight, we're indoors all the time. Like right now we're inside. If I had it my way, I would take the roof off of this thing, or at least have a convertible so we close it when it rains, but then have the sunshine in on us all the time.
Wow.
And we spend all this time indoors, and we're limiting our ability to produce vitamin D3. So the last study I read, this was a couple years ago, it said that some 95% of North America is way vitamin D deficient, not just under 37, but under 20.
Wow.
And we've tested probably 1,000 people in here, and most of them are under 20 when we start their vitamin D. So we go through the changes we've talked about, and then we supplement 10,000 IUs per day from an organic source. So we source ours from like cod liver, wild plants that are high in vitamin D content, vitamin D producing content. So, but 10,000 a day, and then what you do is you test your vitamin D levels in your blood to get a baseline. Like I'll just use Irma because she won't mind me talking about her. Hi, Irma. We tested her vitamin D, and it was like right at 10. Well, then we supplemented 5,000 units a day for 6 months, and it only went up to like 15 or 16. So she stepped it up to 10,000 a day, and that got her vitamin D levels over 60. And then we tested it again a year later, and as long as she takes that 10,000 a day, she keeps it above 60. So her incidence of or chances of getting any kind of cancer are
super low.
Yeah, 77% reduced.
That's so good. I feel like the whole like vitamin D conversation doesn't get brought up a lot, like, or even just walking in general, like.
And there's no, it doesn't. It kind of, it's interesting when people talk about their health. It's always after they lose it.
Yeah.
When they're hurting or my family's in the hospital. We should be talking about this daily, just like salvation. If we lose our body, what good are we at our job? What good are we to our family? This is your number one asset, is your body. At the end of the day, let's say you lost all your money, some tragedy happened out there. You have no more clothes, right? No more shelter. You're going to eat. You're going to eat. Your body wants and it craves health, and it craves power and nutrition. So, but we put it last. This culture puts it last.
Wow.
And then they panic. So that's because of that. You got all these weight loss drugs right now, which are just destroying livers. I mean, horrific side effects. You've got these clinics, weight loss surgeries, which doesn't fix the problem. You've got to address your health, and this vitamin D is just a major role in all of it. Any other questions? I jotted some down. Let's see. Oh, the big one. You mentioned your spine earlier.
Oh, yes.
So what role does getting properly adjusted play in your vitamin D in your body? Well, like I said, cholesterol is in there, right? Your brain knows when you're getting the sunlight, right? You have nerve endings every few micromillimeters on your skin and in your bloodstream. Like the arteries, every few micromillimeters, your nerves attach to your arteries so it can detect what's going on in your bloodstream. I mean, your nervous system is awesome. I could talk for 10 years about the nervous system and its power and authority over your physical body, and I'm not going to come close to how strong and influential it really is. So when you get properly adjusted, the idea is to get your brain flowing through your spinal cord to your body. So clearly, just think about this. Let's just say we restricted the flow of your brain 50% to your body. Are you going to fight off cancer as well? Or are you going to be more at risk of cancer? Does that make sense? So if your spine is not flowing, if you're not well adjusted, And I'm very good at this. I became a chiropractor when I was 13 when I got my first adjustment. When I say I'm very good at this, don't take that as braggadocious. I look at the testimonies.
Yeah.
What I'm good at is getting into your world with you.
Yeah, totally.
Leading you and becoming your teammate. But you do the healing. It is completely up to you. You have to take the steps. So that's what I enjoy being good at. So the adjustments are a big part of that pie. So we get it flowing, then your brain can get to your body. Now the liver works better, your kidneys work better. That was what was going on with me as a kid. I had a really bad kidney, and we think it was from all the medication, but it's working now just fine because we started getting adjusted.
That's so good.
So, but then the next question is, how often should you get adjusted? Well, if you wait, it's just like anything else. If you wait to eat healthy, or if you wait to go exercise, or if you wait to take care of your spouse, or if you wait on anything, if you procrastinate, the law of physics, it's going to get worse. If you neglect something, it's going to get worse. There is no balance. Oh my gosh, you talk about a buzzword. Everything in moderation. What the heck? You talk about the devil's playground, everything in moderation. That is exactly what he wants us to think.
Wow.
I don't want goodness in moderation. I want goodness in abundance. I want strength in abundance, not moderation.
That's so good.
There is no moderation with sugar. That stuff is bad. There's no moderation with alcohol. All right? Talking to myself too. That has been part of our culture forever. That nobody can sit here and tell me the benefits on your physical body of alcohol. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
I mean, they could argue that it gives you peace, at dinner or something, whatever. But really, it's just I like to think of it as it's a fake level of peace.
Wow.
It really separates you from people that love you. It separates you from God. It does kill brain cells. The whole ball of wax. So you don't want to just neglect that. Let's get away from that kind of stuff and pour in all the good. So how often do you get adjusted? Minimum every week. And that's because of our lifestyle in this country. We sit all the time, not to pick on you and I, but we're not sitting in the greatest posture.
Yeah.
That would be way better. And even this puts pressure on your lower back. We're made to be upright, walking around, active. Our beds are too soft. I mean, you go down the road, our footwear is wrong. Just about everything we do tortures our spine, and it starts building up pressure. Can I see your arm real quick? Just to give everybody a visual, make a fist. If this is your brain, the bones should be protecting the spine and let it flow down to your body. Well, your bones, if they get out of place or they start compressing your spine, now I'm squeezing his arm. Your brain's not going to get through here at 100%. Your body's going to have trouble that way. So when you get properly adjusted, boom, it releases that pressure. So you start working. And we've talked about in the past podcast about some people that came in because they had cancer. And look, I want to be real clear. I didn't treat their cancer. And I'm not even telling people there's a cure. If you go back and watch the videos about how cancer develops, you'll understand that you are the cure. Your body is the cure. And nobody can get you in trouble or get me in trouble for telling you that your body is the cure. People get in trouble because they say that this treatment over here is a cure for cancer. That will never happen. That's another lie. There's not going to be a cure for cancer that comes from these pink companies. Oh gosh, Kentucky Fried Chicken has pink labels on their fried chicken barrels every breast cancer month to raise money to go to cancer research. Fried chicken. Are you serious right now? All that does is create more cancer in people's bodies. Yeah. So you got to get out of that mentality and think preventative, and that's where getting adjusted. And plus, you're around this environment every week, so you learn more and more. I talked to a gentleman yesterday, and we were going through his diet, and he's very high on avoiding prostate cancer. So he's known his prostate's had trouble, and he just started care not too long ago. So we met yesterday and went through his diet, and he goes, yeah, I'm pretty good. I avoid sugar. That was the first thing out of his mouth. And I know what that usually means. So I said, okay, well, what'd you have for breakfast? And he says, orange juice and oatmeal. Sugar and more sugar. So when you learn stuff like that, then you can start. So he was like, my gosh, I had no idea. I thought orange juice was good, all the vitamins and everything. No, it's all sugar.
Was it just like store-bought orange juice or like freshly made orange juice?
Well, you would, first of all, an orange, you should eat the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it should be organic. Okay? So if you just squeeze the juice out of it, you're going to get some vitamins in there, but if it's fresh off a tree, right, then the rawness of it is good, but you're getting all the sugar content that's in that orange. And you can only get, an ounce or two from an orange? Well, I don't know about you, but when we used to buy that store-bought orange juice, I would take that gallon jug or whatever and turn it upside down and drink as much as I could, as fast as I could. I was drinking like the juice from like 12 oranges, all sugar. So
On top of the sugar they added.
Then they add sugar to it. Then they also pasteurize it, which destroys it. Anything good that's in a food product, it gets destroyed by pasteurization.
Crazy.
Yeah, once you heat it up, the vitamins become useless. Even the minerals have a hard time working after that. The enzymes are all done.
Wow.
So yeah, but you learn things like that being consistently in here. So I tell everybody get adjusted weekly. Now some people I've had under care for 23 years. They come in once a month, and they're doing okay.
Yeah.
They tend to hurt more, but weekly adjustments are key. And when you first start, getting more at the beginning to get your spine in shape, that's key also.
That's so good.
So there you go. Vitamin D, adjusting, how all that put together helps you prevent cancer. If you need anything, please reach out to us. You can find us in the North Dallas area. Just look up Dr. Hooten, drhooten.com, drhooten.com. You can find us all over social media. If you need anything that you don't live here, if you need somebody to help you, we can help you find somebody that's qualified in all this wherever you live. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Manny, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Remember the slogan?
God is good.
Drugs are bad. God is great.
God is great.
And so are you.
And
Talk to
so
you next
are
time.
you.